This is the book of Mars and Pluto. It is currently so-called August 18th, 2026. Cancer is Vedic in Gems and Eyes in Sagittarius until September 18th, 2026. And it is so-called regular astrology in Cancer until September 27, 2026. And Pluto is Vedic in Capricorn until 2040, around 2040. And so-called regular astrology, it's in Aquarius until March 2043. Our agenda is land, occupation, decolonization, responsibility of competence, hereditament, corporal, and corporal. Our agenda is land, responsibility of competence, hereditament, corporal, and corporal, decolonization, and land occupation. Our agenda is land occupation, decolonization, responsibility of competence, land, and hereditament, corporal, and corporal. This is the letter to be read before every meeting, according to my prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and we begin. This is the evocation of the Moorish American. This is a Moorish American evocation. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and day. Through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Amen. Ra. To be proclaimed at every meeting. I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people on our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves can take charge of the situation. I've notified these things to you long in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that contribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine national and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance as badly as I do at present, that I may shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without me, I, the prophet, being the head. It has been proven by my work in which I have performed in the last few months, because I was at the governor's inauguration to represent the Moorish divine and national movement, and I will be at the inauguration of President Hoover for the same cause. Caveat emptor. Moors are men, upright, independent, and fearless, who care for their loved ones and follow their prophet to a destiny which is not uncertain or unknown. They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is therefore folly at its greatest height for smelly culprits and their insidious plans to invade such realm. They try, but their own bad plannings bring down wrath upon their heads, like the sword old Damocles had. Intrigue and scurrilous cunnings find a difficult path to travel within the ranks of the Moors. This is so because the Moorish movement has been well planned by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, whose latent powers are abundant, unknown, and may be called into action as a matter of defense at any time. Prophet Noble Drew Ali knows the people within his ranks who are interested. They are the vanguard of the movement as the Moorish hordes increase here in America. All Moors are active, not passive. All members' interests can only be in one direction, and having traveled over the world years before, the Prophet knows where every member is along the road. A few feet below is another road where schemes work, where traitors grin and culprits bask in the sun. They think they are on the same road with true Moors. But the Moors are high above on a pinnacle where they might view the destructionists as they fall for the last time, and their bones bleach in the sultry midday sun. Hungry scavengers fly high, catch scent, devour, and leave crying out, Caveat emptor, cast out the dead carcass. The Moors high above see the plotters, purveyors, the worst that exists, hurl themselves downward by their own works as the hawks await. The Prophet warns all Muslims. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches, while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your cards are for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All Moors will and must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. It's the end of the meeting to be read before. That's the end of the letter to be read before every meeting. Now this is the meeting. Quote Warrantos, abrogate claims against the colonial forces occupying North Gate, bleeding the aboriginal heirs of their hereditaments, corporal and incorporal, while impersonating as housing, food, clothing, resource assistance programs. However, are Unam Sanctum arms of terrorism and treason. Part 1. Completing yesterday's writ, making the literature available for the After completing yesterday's writ and making my literature available for the general public and scholars to cross-examine, critique, and scrutinize for their estates in particular, and everything else in general, all my allodial rights and aboriginal rights are reserved. I maintenance the surrounding area and reviewed the records of my dream visions of so-called November 2025. I witnessed Nate, that drives the, quote, state police, quote, license plate automobile, the Moabitist archetype he is usually with, and a Moorish archetype who, through colonial training, he would be considered, quote, youth, unquote, so-called, with locks as a hairstyle, along with a gold Chevy brand car automobile in the driveway. They all arrived. I, with my divine mind/heart, made myself aware of this, of them, and many others, as I was guided by my civic and metacivic higher self to do so. I continued to review my dream vision records of November 2025, and as predicted, when the energy got to a certain free, unbound, unrestricted level within Treme, therefore within the environment, these municipal, state, corporate, operating individuals would arrive to do things to disturb the environment as a means to attack my estate's agenda. My estate's agenda: land occupation, decolonization, hereditaments, corporal and incorporal, and responsibility of competence. They were reinforcing the retardation technology operations that has plagued the North Gate's heirs, who were targeted by these colonial operations, by foreign aliens, and by the conversos. The conversos are the other Northgate heirs who chose to participate or who chose to partake in the colonial operations against the targeted heirs of the Northgate for many generations. I completed the dream vision of November 2025 reviews, then went to breathe in that good prana. In operating my hereditaments competently, corporal and incorporal, I saw a Moabitist archetype, so-called, quote, older, unquote, female Moabitist, as I passed the seafood escheat operation plaza. She stared at me as I passed her a second time. She signaled to me an impression of my workouts. My higher mind brought up these principles when she appealed to me. Number 1, criminal network. Number 2, priesthood of demons who will smile, however are evil. Never mind our courtesy for Moabitist archetype. If the quality of Moabitist/Moorish is unum sanctum, They operate as our estate's fundamental enemy. Now, say hi. Be curt. Now, you can be courteous. Smile back, stay focused, and even say, have a good day. And we continue our agenda. I processed my higher mind's information and continued. The last time I passed her, she was speaking to a pickup truck. I noted everything that my true mind showed me and continued my agenda. On my way back to the Municipalities location of unconstitutional operations against my estate, I took a different road. This road, I saw many houses and cars. The helicopter came to surveil me as I took that route. My higher mind showed me, you see how those drivers of those cars that do those operations against your estate at 10 North Lind Avenue, apartment 10A, 60162 at the state of Hillside, Illinois? I said, yeah. Said, now imagine a principal. They go to these areas and feel safe. And then they come and hide around your direction to terrorize your estates. Then then see how those operations will now come to their door. And look how very subtly I've shown you this. I saw the principle of divine justice shown to Treme by my higher mind / heart. I arrived at this location, cut my hair, and maintained the environment. Near the last of my maintenance, I studied the lecture titled from House of Reawakening Minds, Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey, the series titled the House of Reawakening Minds titled Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey, The Seriousness of Comprehending Jurisdictions, end of title, uploaded September 4th, 2020. I made noodles and respected my divine mind / heart as it consoled Treme on my estate operations and Unam Sanctum Spanish Inquisitions to counter my estate operations with their negative law tentacle to support their treason called retardation technology operations. Now it's 1:30 a.m. By that time, I lay 150 degrees to, quote, so-called sleep, unquote. However, responsibly operating my estate, actively, as Noble Drew Ali, my prophet, demanded, I focus on the violations from Unam Sanctum, Doctrine of Discovery, Monroe Doctrine against my and my family's estates, and I imagine taking my place in divine justice for those injuries. I intimately go within my Akashic records and imagine and review all the pain and unnecessary injuries that were absolutely intentional by those programs, persons, beings, places, things, operations of Unam Sanctum, Doctrine of Discovery, Monroe Doctrine. Then, quite predictably, arrived some municipal Spanish Inquisitionists of Unam Sanctum. I continue to review the subject at hand by my higher mind / heart. And I'm listening to the House of Reawakening Minds YouTube channel lecture titled Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey, Quo Warrantos are necessary to keep government in check. Uploaded April 15th, 2022. I continue to focus my mind against the colonial forces occupying the North Gate. I'm sorry, not that one. This is between 1 hour and 10 seconds and 1 hour and 10 seconds. 1 hour and 10 seconds and 1 hour, 10 minutes and 57 seconds of the Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey lecture video, Quo Warrantos are necessary to keep governments in check. And the whole video is 2 hours, 3 minutes and 29 seconds. But within that between that 1 hour and 10 seconds through 1 hour, 10 minutes and 57 seconds, my divine hereditaments would use Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey divinely as a catalyst, using what he would say, but be communicating to me what is communicating to me. It would narrate these attacks that the arm of Unam Sanctum, called Municipality, were waging against my estate, using the retardation technology operations. They were knocking on the environment to disturb my corporal and corporal hereditament's equilibrium, using the machinery they use to surveil my energy signatures at 10 North Lind Avenue, apartment 10A, 60162 at the state of Hillside, Illinois. My hereditaments, using Grand Sheikh Taj Sharik Bey, said not the whole thing, but, I'm going to give you a part of the gist of what was being said. And that is as follows. This is what he said. Making you understand that the United States Corporation Company is bankrupt, and it is not your government. Their private corporations are bankrupt, who have been pretending to be your government. Thus, the necessity to issue quo warrantos to all of them. Take that. And as for the trolls that I know those governors and others will send out to try to say that Taji Guy has been lying to you when I'm showing you documents, records, they have this information too. And if you want to know why they ain't been teaching you, you ever heard the word treason and misprision of treason? Look it up. End of his quote. I remember as he was talking about the trolls sent to attack him and the divine outcome that wasn't in their favor, that's when I was getting up. I got up at 2:34 a.m. They did their operations of Color of Law, Color of Authority, Municipal Edition at and between 2:20 a.m. and 2:34 a.m. My divine mind/heart showed me the machinery, logistics, and details by showing me. The machine logistics and details of the machinery that they're using to wage war against my state by showing me, which is what they're attacking. By 3 a.m., a loud tornado-like horn was going off. In between 3 a.m. and 3:07 a.m., more municipal ward Spanish Inquisitionists arrived and left. By 3:09 a.m., the unconstitutional machine was turned on. The concentration was 1 out of 10. By 3:14 a.m., it was turned off. By 3:46 a.m., when I wrote the word, as I was doing this writ, when I wrote the word Unam Sanctum, it was turned on. By 3:52 a.m., that concentration was 1 out of 10. By 3:52 a.m., it was turned off. By 4:26 a.m., the machine makes a beating sound. The machine that makes the beating sounds located in the building turns on until 5:13 a.m. In summary, my position as an heir of the Moroccan Empire, part and parcel, here at the North Gate, is that these arms of Unam Sanctum, municipalities, states, corporations, etc., are Trojan horse operations to wage war upon us and our estates, and they must be brought to lawful and treaty-based justice, Moroccan Treaty of Peace and Friendship, for their duties of Trojan horse strategy injury upon the heirs of the Moroccan Empire, part and parcel, here at the North Gate. End of quo warranto and abrogate claims against the colonial forces occupying the North Gate, bleeding the aboriginal heirs of their hereditaments corporal and incorporal, while impersonating as housing, food, clothing, and resource assistance programs. However, are the Unam Sanctum arms of terrorism and treason.